Weight loss drugs are everywhere right now, and they may seem pricey and out of reach until now. Hims is changing the game and offers weight loss drugs with the same active ingredients as Ozempic and Wegovy, except they're accessible and affordable. At hims.com/touchdown, you can get treatment prescribed 100% online. A medical provider on the platform can determine if a weight loss plan is right for you, and if prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. All for as little as $69 a month with a 10-month plan for oral medications, or $165 a month with a 12-month compounded GLP-1 plan paid up front. No hidden fees, no access fees, and no membership fees. So get started at hims.com/touchdown. That's hims.com/touchdown. Hey, you sweet bastards, we got a great show for you today. The great Lawrence Taylor joins me, and if that's not enough, Hall of Famer Champ Bailey will be with me. And I went out to Bourbon Street in New Orleans to talk to the fans on the street and find out what's on their minds about Super Bowl 59. We got all of that and more coming right up here for you. And YouTube viewers, first, please like, click, and subscribe. This is a show by the people, for the people, and you, my friends, are my people. We love the interaction, and the more interaction we get from you, the better. The Ricky Cobb Show starts now. I'm Ricky Cobb, and this is the Ricky Cobb Show, live from New Orleans, and I'm joined on this Friday. Oh, Indiana, oh, Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you. The great one, a sweet bastard, in fact, Dan Dakich.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure, Dan. We got an MVP.
We do.
Last night. We knew that it was going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. That debate's been going on. A foregone conclusion, it's going to be one of those. Even with the great year that Barkley had, by the way. That tells you how much this is a quarterback award. I had LT, and LT's actually going to be on this program, taped with him earlier. He's going to talk about that a little bit, but we might as well just call it the best quarterback award at this point.
I'm waiting for all the people to say stupid stuff, like racism, like that kind of thing. That's coming. To me, I don't know who should be the MVP. I do know this. When the season started, Ricky, so many people were discounting the Bills because Stephon Diggs was gone, Gabe Davis was gone, Milano got hurt, and they were actually better. They couldn't get past Mahomes. All right. So, I don't know what they judge it on, but to me also, Barkley was the most valuable player for the Eagles, and to show his value, look what the hell happened to the Giants.
Yeah.
Like they fell in the toilet without the dude. I mean, literally in the toilet. So I'm with you. I'd have liked to have seen Barkley get it. Allen got it. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, look, Allen, I would have voted for Jackson probably.
Me too.
But there's no wrong choice here. It was I think it was 27 first place votes for Allen, 23 for Jackson. Look, there's no undeserving there. Josh Allen had a hell of a year. He put the Buffalo Bills on his back. So, more credit to him. Dan, we also got some new Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I've got Eric Allen, Jared Allen in there, among others. Sterling Sharp was the one that I'm excited about because I've been pumping. There we go. We can take a look at that. You can see the Hall of Fame class here. And I have been saying again and again and again, Sterling Sharp belongs in the Hall of Fame, and finally validated in that. He and Shannon, the first brothers.
That's unbelievable.
In the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Think about, you're the mom and dad, and both of your kids are not only great football players, not only, but Hall of Famers. Holy hell. In Indy, we want Reggie Wayne in and Adam Vinatieri. That didn't happen. Jared Allen actually is a friend of the show. Jared has been on OutKick a couple of times, I think, on our show, and I think on the on Hot Mic. But you're right. When I think of guys that are Hall of Famers, I think of guys that kind of dominated, right? That you're like, hey. A longtime defensive coordinator, Rick Venturi, calls them Ambien players, meaning when you're coaching against them, you got to take Ambiens to sleep because they keep you up. And that's what Sterling Sharp was, so well-deserved. What the hell?
Yeah, he lost his career at age 29. He was getting stingers.
Yeah.
And I used to watch all the Packers games. I had him on my fantasy team, Dan.
Okay.
When I was 18 years old, I won a nationwide contest. I won $1,000.
Did you?
And I had him and Don Mikowski in '89. If you remember the Magic Man.
Magic Man.
He had an incredible year that year. And so $1,000 to me in Horse Cave, Kentucky in 1989, I thought that I'd hit the Mega Millions.
Yes.
So Sterling, thank you.
Yeah.
For that money. Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick. Dan, look. Belichick's there. He's got a ring. He's got a Super Bowl ring on every finger. He's got his girlfriend, who I think is what is she? A third of his age?
She's 24, right?
Yeah. Bill's in his early 70s. I believe. Dan, Bill is just kind of he's embracing this swagger here now.
I think like a dad. I have a daughter. I have a stepdaughter. I have a sister. I have an ex-wife, a wife. I've got a mother still alive. I got everything. And I'm thinking that picture's gross. I don't know why. Love is love. Love is love, baby. Love is, and I'm all in. That's great. But as a dad, Ricky, I'm like,
Dan, what are her parents? What are her
That's
parents?
What I'm saying.
Because her parents are probably like my age.
Yeah.
Right? She's 24, 23,
I have a
whatever
25-year-old daughter.
I got a 22-year-old daughter.
There you go.
So can you imagine she brings home Pete Carroll one day or whatever?
The dad and me, the football fan, would be like, hey, it's Bill Belichick. And then I'd be like, hey, wait, I'm picturing him bouncing up and down on my daughter. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life, Ricky.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Showing up at your house wearing hoodies with holes in them.
Looking all stiff. And, come on.
Yeah.
I don't need
Bonding
that.
with him, Do you try to intimidate him? Dan, you've got a command presence. You've coached and whatever. When the young guys come around, are they quaking a little bit?
They were. My daughter moved to Chicago and thinks she keeps things hidden. I've embarrassed her. One guy, Mr. Dakich, we were going to a dance. Can you tie my tie? I go, yeah. Tied his tie, pulled it up. I go, what time you coming home? But look, this. There's nothing like a daughter, man. I got a son. I love him to death. We talk every day. But I don't feel protective of him, And so, I'd be like, yo, man, what are you doing?
What's that? How awkward is it in the living room?
I don't know.
When you're sitting there? He's making small talk about how he schemed for the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. What are you talking to the dad about?
I remember this, Ricky. I remember when I was in high school, we were kind of a big deal in our area. And I was dating this girl. I went to her house. And the dad, I'm going to Indiana, which is really cool in the state of Indiana. And for about, 2 minutes, the dad was, hey, Dan, man, it's great to have you here. And then it was, hey, what the fuck you going to do? Like, where the fuck you guys going? What the fuck you doing? You know what I mean? I was like, and I'm nowhere near at the level of Belichick. But I always think of that conversation when things like this happen. Like, hey, man, it's great. Hey, God dang, I loved you and Brady. What the fuck you doing with my daughter now?
I'm telling you, dude. I can't even imagine. So, what we got here? Wait a minute.
Keeping female sports female. OutKick.
Okay, you got some.
There we go.
We got some swag here.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear it.
Wear
it all day.
Let's see there.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go, ladies.
How about
and gentlemen.
that? The executive order just signed.
Yeah.
This week by Donald. It was quite a scene, wasn't it, with all those young girls around it?
ESPN can't even admit to it.
Well, the thing, this is the whole thing. Like, it's hard for them to walk this shit back now. The public has spoken overwhelmingly. This is what common sense American people want. But they have positioned themselves so far out there. How do they walk it? How do they walk it back to the middle now?
I saw Stephen A. Smith today or yesterday said, but men shouldn't be having to compete against women. I'm like, okay, you got the mandate that it's okay now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Sage Steele, that was part of one of the reasons that she got fired. We saw Dan Orlovsky taking down a tweet, keep our women or daughters safe, and that's like, what? Of course, that's common sense. I don't know how you walk it back. I don't know. Yeah. But I like this. I like this a lot.
Looking good.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking sharp in that. Yeah, is that a keeper?
Is that a keeper, Gary?
I think it's a keeper, Dan.
I'm walking.
Yeah, I think you're keeping it. I believe I got one, too, over there somewhere.
Yeah, man.
I just hope they got the right size. Make sure you didn't get the schmeedy.
I got the double X, and I'm so fat in the waist.
That's me.
I go like this.
That's me. Well, let's get it on. Let's see, Dan.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. There's Marvin Gaye.
Why not?
One set. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Sharpest dressed man here in the entire building. Speaking of Belichick, Dan,
Yeah.
I got a quote from Bill Belichick about my first guest today, and I think we're going to have it up here on the screen. I love this. Bill Belichick saying, he got asked, I think it was Khalil Mack was having a big year a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they asked him how he compared to Lawrence Taylor. And Bill Belichick said, I'm not putting anybody in Lawrence Taylor's class, put everybody down below that. With a lot of respect to a lot of good players, we're talking about Lawrence Taylor. And earlier, I got to talk to Lawrence Taylor. Let's go to the tape. All right, well, they say sometimes my next guest doesn't need an introduction. This is one of those cases where it's literally true. Welcome to the program, Lawrence Taylor.
Thank you.
LT, greatest defensive player of all time, in my opinion. There are only 2 men who have ever won the MVP from the defensive side of the ball. You're the last one to do it, you and the great Alan Page.
Yeah.
1986, it's been almost 40 years. 16 of the last 17 MVPs have been quarterbacks. It's kind of become a quarterback award. What do you think about the fact that defensive guys really don't get recognized in that way?
Well, it's a shame, but I mean, I think as time goes on, nowadays, you can't play the defense that I'm accustomed to playing. You know, I'm not. So you're getting flags thrown on you. I can't see a defensive player in this time and era to reach that goal again.
That's a great point because those guys you got to be thinking about how can you play at your top the way you played. It was raw electricity. Can you do that with the way the game is now?
You can't. The game has changed so much. I mean, what you can do, what you can't do. How you chase a person, how you hit a person. I mean, only thing we had to worry about back in our day was, hey, if I pull somebody by the helmet, we expect you to get that call. But now they got designated places where you can hit a quarterback, or designated places where you can hit a running back. So the game has gotten really tough for defense. It really has got tough for defense. But I remember playing Joe Montana, and I was chasing him down. He came out, he chased down, he's running to the out of bounds, and just before he stepped out of bounds, I just let up, That's something. He took that ball and ran down another 15 yards, right? And I went over to him and I said, listen, hey, let me tell you something. If you ever do that again, I will light you up on the and he apologized. He said, man, I understand. Nowadays, man, God, you can't even touch him once they hit the ground. But then what happens when you're playing a guy like Mahomes who does his fake going to go down and then he takes and runs off? I mean, what happens? Let's get some fairness in this, okay?
Flopping. He's flopping.
Yeah, get some fairness because, you got a lot of great defensive players out there. But the league or the game is not allowing them to do what they do best,
LT, I've always said if you're going to measure the greatest football player, I look at it, who was better at his position than anybody else was at theirs. People are going to say Tom Brady's the GOAT or whatever, but there's a lot of great quarterbacks that are close. I don't think anybody's ever played the linebacker position like you. I think there's more daylight between you and whoever's number 2 than any other position. I had Carl Banks on this show a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. We were talking about you. Of course, you come up. And he said the thing people don't understand about LT sometimes is he was a football genius. Okay? What went into the mental side of it? Because I think there's some people that just assume there's, man, LT went out there and he was just a beast and he was a physical marvel, but the mental side.
I tell you, I don't know what goes into the mental side. I mean, hey, I like to know my opponent before and football, before I play a game on Sunday, I played that game 20 times already in my mind. I've played it already. And I go home to go to sleep. I've played the game before, so when I go out there, nothing's a surprise to me. It's not a surprise to me. I expect to give my best, and I like and that's what I pride myself on.
Well, you certainly did that. You gave the best that we've ever seen on the football field. We appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, LT.
All right, buddy.
Well, very pleased to welcome to the program now. Well, that was a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, I'm magically in a different outfit here. We taped that earlier. Obviously, man, it was great to talk to LT. I loved the Joe Montana story as he was talking about that. That was a good one. So he's the GOAT in my opinion. Certainly among defensive players, but I've had the chance to do so many great interviews this week. It's been wild here. I've actually lost count. I think I've done 12 or 13 interviews over the past 2 days. I'm running around with a microphone. We've been doing a lot of stuff. Rod Woodson on the show yesterday. And among the award winners last night that were announced, it wasn't just Josh Allen winning the MVP, but Patrick Surtain is the NFL's defensive Player of the Year, cornerback from Denver. And some of you might remember, I hope you remember, another pretty good cornerback from the Denver Broncos, a Hall of Famer, All-Pro, 12 times a Pro Bowl selection over the course of his career. It was my pleasure to sit down earlier with the great Champ Bailey. Let's go to the tape. Well, very pleased to welcome to the program now one of the greats of all time, Hall of Fame cornerback, a shutdown corner is what you were. Champ Bailey joins the program. Champ, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
Doing very well, sir. I mean, here you are in New Orleans, Super Bowl. Does it ever get old coming out to the Super Bowl?
It really doesn't. You don't know what to expect. So I come out here with an open mind, and the idea is that I'm gonna see a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. So it's always good to catch up and get reacclimated with some familiar faces. I mean, it's always a great time, man.
All right, well, the narrative here is the Kansas City Chiefs trying to do something that's never been done before and get the three-peat.
Yeah.
And obviously they've already got 3 rings, Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, and the guys, but a three-peat is something that would stand alone and sort of be the final stamp, in a way, on the Chiefs dynasty. Can you talk a little bit about how hard it is to maintain that level of play year after year?
It's extremely hard to get in the playoffs every year. This is the first year the Broncos been in since 2015, right? So it lets you know, like, you have to be so good to keep this level of success. Now, to win 3 Super Bowls, actually, it's unheard of, right? Never been done. And for them to actually have a chance to do it, I mean, I don't know how many teams have had a chance to do it, if any. But
this is it. This is the only team that has been in a position to do it.
See, that's amazing in itself. So, of course, they have dynasty written all over their franchise right now. I think they just got the perfect marriage. Great head coach, great franchise, great quarterback, and a few good skill players, but that mainstay in Travis Kelce. They just built this team perfectly, man, and everybody was drafted by him. So, it's a testament to you draft your Super Bowl. That's how I look at it. Like, most teams that go and win and excel, their best players are probably drafted by that franchise.
Well, we're starting to see more and more comparisons. At least I feel like I'm hearing more between people saying Patriots or Chiefs. If they win 3 in a row, does that put them at least on equal footing with the Chiefs dynasty? Now, I mean with the Patriots dynasty. Now, I got to say, the Patriots had a chance to go for a three-peat in 2006, 2005 season.
Yep.
They happened to be in Denver at Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, we shut that down.
Yeah, well, you had a little something to do with it. We might not be talking about the first three-peat if not for you. you guys are up 10-6 late in the third quarter. Tom Brady, you pick him off in the end zone, take it back 100 yards.
Yeah.
Basically flipped that entire game around. You guys went on and won. Was that the greatest play of your career?
I would say so, because at that time, basically for what all you just said, it flipped that game because they were driving and we were tired on defense. that shows you why I didn't make it to the end zone. But it definitely is. And, I got to give the Patriots a lot of credit. What they did and how they did it was great because they had the same quarterback the whole time, same head coach. And that's what helps you continue that level of success. Same with the Chiefs. But when you try to compare the two, it's a little bit hard. I understand people want to draw these comparisons. I mean, you can also go back to the 49ers in the 80s and the Cowboys in the 90s. There's always some franchise that kind of sticks out every decade. And this is just their turn, and they're taking advantage of it, man. But I can't put them over the Patriots. Patriots do have 6. I mean, Brady has 7. So it's kind of hard to say that they're up there yet. I mean, they're working on their 4th, right? So we'll see.
There you have it. Here's a quote from Drew Brees about you. I can't make a mistake because he'll make me pay. It's just don't even think about it. It's not worth it. How much pride did you take? And I got another quote. Here's a stat, another one here. 2006 season, this is according to ESPN, you allowed 4 catches in man coverage the entire season.
Right.
You had 10 interceptions that year, by the way. How much pride did you take in shutting down elite quarterbacks and elite receivers?
That was my game. I always prided myself on being a complete player. Great tackler, good teammate, leader, obviously great cover guy. But, when that season was happening, it wasn't like I was thinking about it. It was just, man, I'm dialed in. Match up on this guy, dialed in. And you look back and reflect on what just happened. Just turned out to be one of the better seasons as a cornerback that you've ever seen. And, I'm happy about how that happened. Didn't win Defensive Player of the Year that year. Jason Taylor did. He deserved it, obviously. I mean, we both had great seasons. But, man, that's what you want as a corner, man, just consistency across the board.
Champ, you're humble. You won't say it, but I will. Nothing against Jason Taylor, great player, but I kind of think you deserve it. If we're being honest,
I appreciate that.
Kind of think you deserved it. So, what's it like, sort of mano a mano? People talk about the Revis Island or whatever, right? That's what you did. What's it like there, that battle, man? Like you're going at it with like somebody's number one guy, some dude who's putting up 90, 100 receptions, whatever, and is used to burning guys.
Yeah.
And then here comes Champ Bailey on Sunday.
Yeah.
What's that competition like? Just the one-on-one as you're going through a game with the guy, play after play.
It's tough, but it's a mindset, right? And it doesn't start when you kick the ball off that Sunday. It starts early in the week. A lot of contributed to the off season and how you prepare. But during that week, you're just trying to make sure you know everything you need to know about that opponent if you have a matchup that week. So when they do come to that island, that ball doesn't come over there, or if it does, it doesn't become a complete pass. And I just prided myself on being accountable, but also understanding, man, I got to do my job at a high level because I know these guys around me are watching. They watch how I work, and that's really where you build that confidence during the week.
That was an island where people took a vacation from receptions.
There you go.
Is
there
what
you go.
is
That's
what I
exactly
think it was.
You got a week off. Come over here.
Now, tell me, who were the guys that you enjoyed going up against the most? The guys that you look, because, I mean, when you're at the top of your game like you are, I'm sure you relish there were some guys that probably you knew going into the week that you probably were going to handle them. Who were the guys where, like, you were amped up even more than usual, saying, like, okay, I'm going to test my skills this week?
There's a lot, man. I could go on and on. Early in my career, Amani Toomer in New York was a problem because he had a quarterback that didn't care and would throw anything at you. So it made it tough because he had a big body, so he would use it well. And then Steve Smith, he was tough. T.O., Marvin Harrison was a nightmare because Peyton Manning just kind of just made that even worse than what it was, even though he was individually a great talent. T.O., man, I don't know if I said T.O., but...
you did, but
okay.
he probably deserves to get mentioned twice.
Absolutely. Randy Moss, I mean, you name it. They were all scared. Chad Johnson, all scary. You know, my battles with Chad were pretty good because the first time I played him, he got me good. He had a great game. I think I had a pick that game, but it didn't matter because they won. And then from then on, I think I played him 2 more times, and I actually handled my business. But it was more about just making sure you're not going to be consistently good against me, period. Like, you can make a play here and there, but consistency and me being on the other end of it, it wasn't happening.
And that one was a lot of fun. They've all been a lot of fun. Every interview I've done here this week, and it's been a wide variety of people that I've talked to. It's been great. But Champ Bailey, I'm a Champ Bailey fan. I'm bringing in producer Tim now, joining the show. Everybody's been great, but Champ Bailey was a guy who made a really favorable impression on me. Good dude.
Very, very much so. Real student of the game, historian, NFL legend.
Hall of Famer, man.
Yeah. The Legend series really means something too. For those of you who don't know, haven't seen the follow, but there's a real distinction there for some of these guys. And Ricky, I would just say, having been to a bunch of these and seen hundreds of interviews, it's very clear the guys that get you and click and really sort of, as a guy who does his homework, you were pointing out a bunch of stats and things where, off camera, a lot of these guys are saying to Ricky, hey, great job. Like, you know your stuff, you know your work. So Super Bowl Media Day, Super Bowl Radio Row is ready for you, brother, and ready for Super 70s going forward.
Well, thank you, man. It's very, very kind of you to say that. It's certainly been an honor to get to talk to these guys. I mean, Lawrence Taylor and Champ Bailey in one show is pretty good stuff.
I'm not sure we've heard the Montana story before from LT.
I had never heard it.
Yeah, so good job again on making that happen.
Yeah, that was good stuff as he was talking about it. Every man who was my age or older when I was a kid smelled, I don't know, he smelled like the sailor that came in from sea that Dan Dakich's old coach wrote the song, which is a tremendous story, but smells like Germany losing World War II is what Old Spice smells like. They need to lean into that. The weirdest interview, I've been saying, we've done all these interviews. I think we've done like 13 over the past couple of days. It's just a free-for-all in the best sense. But the weirdest one by far is the one that we're about ready to roll. I don't know. Rather than have me try to set it up, let's just watch it. I'm here with the Old Spice guy, the one and only American legend and icon.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm here with you.
All right, tell me. Well, I'm an Old Spice user.
Oh.
Yeah, so do you have any advice for me to take my grooming and smelling great to the next level?
Yes, never stop.
Never stop.
Yes.
Have you always been this cool?
Did it take you a minute to figure it out?
Swagger. You define swagger. Do you come up with the names for these products? We got all this cracking guard and all of this stuff. I mean, it feels like that's something that you would do.
Yes. Speaking of cracking, I'm the brainchild for all the names. Yes, of course.
You got a prediction for this Super Bowl?
No predictions, but yes, the Eagles are going to win.
Well, there you have it, straight from the mouth of the Old Spice. Does he have a name?
Well, I was going to look that up, but
is he
no.
just the Old Spice guy?
He
That's
wasn't
what I
wearing
called him.
Old Spice like that. If I was really going to get on the PR lady,
were you were smelling him? You got
He
did you give him a Joe Biden?
He did not smell like Old Spice.
I wasn't close enough
At
to
least
smell
put it
him.
on the cardigan, put it on his sweater at least.
I don't know. You caught a whiff. What, are you like a savant? What did he smell like?
Well, listen, Bourbon Street smells a lot better than I remember from 20 years ago. It definitely does.
It's a little different. I've only been here once before, which was like at 2001. I was here for Mardi Gras, and it was, it was
debauchery.
It was straight on debauchery.
Right.
They've cleaned it up some.
Very. Even the smells. I only smelled one sewer that was sort of rough.
How many Old Spice wearers did you detect on Wednesday night, Tim?
None.
Okay, none.
No.
I don't. All right. Well,
No.
you have a gift, obviously. Well, we were out there on the street in the middle of the fray. The Super Bowl fans in town, tourists wandering around, a lot of drunk people. Again, just let's go to the tape. Bourbon Street, Timmy and I. Oh, there we go. There, look at this. Look at this. How psyched are you? You got a rematch now with the Chiefs from 2 years ago. Is it payback on Sunday?
Payback is up. Can I say?
Yeah. Do y'all find the Kansas City Chiefs as annoying as a lot of people seem to?
Absolutely.
Were you a Travis Kelce fan first or a Taylor Swift fan first?
Taylor Swift fan.
All right.
And then
Okay. All right. So you got a prediction for the game?
Chiefs are going to win. 3-beat. And he's going to propose to Taylor Swift after the game.
On the 50-yard line?
Period, yes.
We've got a family feud here on Sunday. All right. Tell me, why the Chiefs?
It's a half feud. I'm only a Travis Kelce fan. I'm actually a Patriots fan, but they're out of the game right now. So I got a bandwagon for the Chiefs, and it's because I'm a Taylor Swift fan. So here I am.
You kind of look like Jason Kelce a little bit.
I actually met Jason tonight and told him that there was apparently a lookalike competition this week, and he said, yeah, you should have been in it. So I'll take that.
So no matter who wins, we're going to still have marital harmony.
We did last time we lost.
Do you find the Chiefs as annoying as so many people do?
Yes.
Taylor Swift. How do you feel about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Yes.
Give me a prediction.
27-29 Chiefs.
All right, there you go. There you go. You heard it here first. Oh, you're a Cowboys fan. All right, then. Do you like Jerry Jones?
I live in Dallas. It's Jerry Nation.
I'm going to do my Jerry Jones impression. You give it to me 1 in 10. All right, here we go. It's like, I'm in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Very disappointed that the Dallas Cowboys aren't in the Super Bowl this year, but we're hoping that we'll be there next year.
That's a 10.
High five. Y'all have a great night. She gave me a 10.
Heck
10.
yeah.
I mean, I think she was just being nice, but she gave me a 10.
Full high five, everything.
Full high five. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was not planned. You were asking me, was that planned? That
Right.
was not, no.
Excellent.
But she was a Cowboys fan.
The force is with you. It's starting to take you over.
I just heard it. I hear Cowboys now, or I hear Jerry Jones, and I just immediately.
Pavlov's dog.
Brian Schottenheimer, we feel good about what Brian can do for the Dallas Cowboys. And Tim, I'd like to remind you that it's not all sunshine and glory holes
I love you, Jerry.
being in the NFL.
I love you some Jerry.
It was fun. We saw a wide variety of people out and about, having a good time on Bourbon Street.
Very much so.
Good
Yeah,
vibes
yeah.
here.
And
in this
the
town.
response again, the Super 70s pats on the back.
Yeah,
You're coming, man.
yeah.
America, get ready.
Yeah,
The Ricky Cobb show is coming for you.
We met a dude who had a tattoo of the Texas Rangers.
Bad choice.
Box.
Bad choice.
We should find that. You got a photo of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got the box score of the deciding game of the was it the 2023 World Series?
Yeah, like
the one the
great
Rangers
Texas
beat
Rangers?
the
Come on.
Diamondbacks.
Give me a Red Sox fan doing that. Give me a Cubs fan
Well,
doing that.
Rangers fans are allowed to love their team too, Tim.
We'll show America it next week.
Yeah.
600 numbers on his back for the Texas
tattoo
Rangers.
artist, man, it was like a brain surgeon. He needed like a neurosurgeon / tattoo artist to go that small.
He's ready for Tubi.
I'm telling you, he's ready for Tubi. I'm ready for Tubi.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready for the game.
New experience.
You need to get ready for the game, and what an experience you can have watching the game on Tubi. Sounds pretty good to me, Tim. You can go to Tubi and sign up and stream Super Bowl 59 free and in 4K. What more do you want than that? Super Bowl 59 pregame starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the Tubi red carpet with Olivia Culpo at 3:30 Eastern Time. And then, of course, the game is at 6 o'clock. You want to enjoy all of it, and why not enjoy it in 4K for free on Tubi?
Good deal.
I think it's a good deal.
Good deal.
Everybody should get into it. Had a chance to catch up with the X Factor, the human joystick. I mean, this guy's got 2 of the all-time great nicknames. A member of the Hall of Fame's all 2000s decade team. I had a chance to catch up with Dante Hall. Dante, we saw this year the NFL go to the dynamic kickoff. I don't know if that's a great name for it or not. Obviously, we know things now about CTE and all of this. I understand things evolve, but what was your take on the first year of this? Should this be something that was one and done, or do you think that this is what we're going to have?
I think it's what we're going to have, because if you take out kick returns, you change the totality and the complexity of football. What are you just going to put it on a 25? That's a scrimmage. So you have to have the kicking game involved. As you mentioned, safety is a priority. We realized that the majority of concussions were coming from the kick game, coverage, blocking, things of that nature. So I love the emphasis of trying to keep the return game part of our game we love so much, but also prioritizing safety. Now, I suggested to Mr. Roger Goodell, hey, you want to return every time? Just move that kicker back. Leave the guys where they're at, because I'm all for safety. Okay, I'm with you on that. But I also am for guys having a chance to return every single time. Just move that kicker back 10, 15 yards. Now, everything falls into place. You have safety, and you have 100% return rate.
Worst play in football is watching some guy just boot it through the back of the end zone. Absolutely terrible. All right, Dante, you know, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs now, obviously you were Kansas City Chief for 7 seasons. You know all about Chiefs Kingdom, Arrowhead Stadium. When you look at this dynasty, the only team that has even had a chance to three-peat in terms of being in the game with a chance to do it. You see Mahomes, Andy Reid, what they've done. How much fun has it been to see this Kansas City Chiefs dynasty?
It's been an absolute joyous ride, as you can imagine, right? I'm so happy more so for the Chiefs kingdom, the fan base. Those people in Kansas City, man, they root their team on no matter what, win, lose, or draw. They're there, packed, passionate, dedicated. So I'm really, really happy for them, really happy for the Hunt family, because they do a great job of taking care of their alumni, treating us like family. So I'm just really, really happy. It's a great ride, and I hope it continues for another, 7, 8 years.
Saquon Barkley. You know, your nickname, one of your nicknames, the human joystick. There are some guys, I remember playing Tecmo Bowl with Bo Jackson years ago, and you're just like, man, this is the greatest thing. Occasionally in real life, you see guys that have that kind of electricity. You had it as a return man, certainly. Saquon has it as a running back. What is it about Saquon Barkley that makes him so special?
His quads. them superhuman legs that he has. But no, I think he has a real, obviously he's physically gifted, but I think his mental and his vision is also goes along and pairs with that physical ability, and it just makes for a total, complete back. And then he's passionate about what he does, right? So you put those components together, and you get a Saquon Barkley. Now, you take all of that, and then you put him behind a dominant line like the Philadelphia Eagles have, and you get what you're seeing this year. A running back that, in my opinion, carried a team to the Super Bowl.
All right, pivoting back to the Chiefs for a second. We're hearing a lot of comparisons, as you would expect, between the Patriots dynasty and the Chiefs dynasty. You played against a lot of those great Patriots teams. How do you compare them to one another?
I think it's similar. I think it's very, very similar in the fact that if you look at the Patriots dynasty, they did it in a multitude of ways. The first 2 or 3 championships, it was defense. Then they got Randy Moss and got Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Then they were high-powered. Then they did it with the running game also with Kevin Falk. So I see the Chiefs being the same way. Obviously, when they had Tyreek Hill and some of those great receivers, it was all about the air show, right? 5,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, 50 touchdowns. But then they came back and, hey, we're going to nickel and dime you. We're going to win with our defense. And we're going to win with maybe a subpar receiving core. So I just look at both dynasties doing it in a multitude of ways. And when you win the way those 2 dynasties have won, it has to come in a variety of ways.
One more for you here before we talk about Mueller Revive, which I got a bad shoulder, so you might be doing me a big service here today. All right, now. Kickoff returns, punt returns. Did you have a preference? Was there one you enjoyed more than the other?
Yes, punt returns. And the reason being is because on a kickoff return, if you look at the way they come down, as a return man, you want these guys to get out of their lanes. Because when they get out of their lanes, it creates an opening lane for the returner. So as a kickoff, they come down pretty much even and in their lane. A lot harder to return. Go look at Devin Hester's stats. He's the greatest all time. He has the most returns in NFL history. Of his 20 returns, 14 were punt returns. Much easier to take to the house. More difficult to catch a punt than a kickoff. Much easier to take to the house because the people that are covering first have to block. So they're sitting, they're blocking, and then they release out into their lanes. 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to mess up. And when they mess up, we're going to make them pay.
Shout out to Ryan and Dylan over here, too, by the way.
Incredible.
2 great young guys who have done tremendous work here all week for us, and by God, we appreciate them as well.
Incredible what's transpired here this week, the amount of content, quality content brought to you by Dylan, by
Absolutely,
Ryan.
man.
Shout out to Chuck.
The thing, shout out to Chuck as well. The thing that you learn very quickly coming into like a whole new career for me, right, is how much if you see a show that's good, there's so many people that you're not aware of that are critical to
Molly,
that show
Tyler,
being good.
Kayla, who cut that MOS.
Absolutely.
Jared, really a great team effort.
It's a team effort here at OutKick, and it wouldn't be possible without a lot of really talented people doing the stuff that they do. So we do appreciate it. The atmosphere here is incredible, though, in New Orleans. Just going out and walking the streets and seeing all the energy and the people about, it's just a fantastic. There's a shot right here of the convention hall that we're in. So if you have any curiosity about what this entire place looks like, we are set up here with, God, like the assembled media from all across this entire country, and it's quite an environment. You look up, you're doing the show, you're seeing famous people walking by all over the place.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.